Hey everybody, welcome to Conversations That Matter. I'm your host, Alex Newman with the New American Magazine. Find us online at thenewamerican.com. We have a very special guest with us today, member of the Birch Society from Canada, the Great White North. Of course, our good friends in Canada have been basically living through a biomedical police state for the last 2 years, worse than anything California or even New York has attempted. And our friend Luigi Grimaldi, he is on the front lines there. He actually is being discriminated against because he won't take the injections. But we brought him on today because he's participated in these trucker convoys. And so we want to talk to him about what's going on. Luigi, thank you so much for joining us today. You participated in one of the regional convoy demonstrations. Tell us about what's going on.
Alex, thanks for having me. I'm a proud member of JBS. I love the magazine as well, and the videos and the books. This particular convoy is extremely important, only because it's well received by the majority of Canadians. People here love the truckers. The truckers are a very interesting demographic because they tend to be very conservative as a norm, and they wouldn't comply with the mandates, especially the recent ones. And they started this. A lot of them won't get vaccinated. They won't do their jobs because they can't comply with the mandates, and they're forced, like myself, to make that decision. So they've got together and are, starting from coast to coast and have converged in Ottawa. There've been regional support for the truckers for them removing the mandates, and these are amongst all other Canadians. So when they usually in various towns. We have one here in near Barrie, Ontario. I'm in Central Ontario, and I attended that one. We had about 4,000 people in various cars, trucks. We did a circular route around the town, and along the route we had well received, as well as along the underpasses to the 400 highway. We had a lot of people there waving flags. I brought my "Don't Tread on Me" Gadsden flag, and I saw a handful of those as well. And so it is very well received. This is a very enormous protest. It's been getting a lot of support amongst all Canadians. I believe that we may have hit a critical mass as far as support for removing these mandates permanently. Depends by region. Quebec's really bad, but Western Canada, I would say, is definitely for this. And I think it's going to be a turning point. I really do.
Fantastic. Well, the prime minister up there, Justin Trudeau, prime minister, wannabe dictator, whatever you call him, he said this was just a small fringe minority, and it's just white supremacists, and that they have unacceptable views that are not supported by Canadians. In your experience, is that true? Is he just making this up, or is that along the lines of what's going on?
No, it's not true at all. The numbers speak for themselves. In Ottawa, there's 1 million people there. 1 million
Wow.
people. This is similar, to what the support for Trump during his speech that went the other way because of infiltration back on January 6th. This is that amount of people there in Ottawa, and it's never been seen before in Canadian history. This amount of support to remove these mandates. So this isn't a fringe. These are everyday truckers are everyday Canadians. They're generally not very political. They just do their job, and they don't expose themselves to anybody as far as disease is concerned, because they're in a truck all the time and they're by themselves. So they know what I believe they know what they're talking about, and we're supporting them. Trudeau, I mean, he uses the same left-wing, smear tactics. I think we're all tired of it. I mean, he was caught with blackface many times in photographs, and so he has nothing to go by, really. There's other things about him. You just got to dig a little deeper. But he's a globalist. He's kind of like Macron's evil twin, or they're both evil as far as I'm concerned. So a lot of regular Canadians are losing heart in him, even liberals, I would say, for sure.
But give us a sense of what's been going on, because I'm in Florida right now. Life is pretty normal here. We don't have any restrictions, and we've had virtually none, at least where I stay in the state. Some of the counties have kind of done some dumb stuff, although the governor stepped in to stop them. So I think for a lot of Americans, what's going on in Canada is just completely alien, completely unfathomable. Well, paint a picture of what's going on in Canada for the folks who maybe haven't experienced it, haven't read much about it.
Well, I'll first speak about Ontario. Ontario is the most populous province in Canada, and it's the capital. The capital is there as well. And Toronto, the largest city, is here as well. It depends on, you're right, it is very regional. Within Ontario itself, you go to Toronto, it's just chock full of liberals, and they're very pro mandate, pro Trudeau, but I think that's slipping. Everywhere else outside of Toronto, you're pretty much looking at a very lower and lower support for these mandates. A lot of people are starting to see through it, especially people who are double jabbed. What'll happen is then they got to get the booster, and then they got to see they need more, and then they're wondering why do I need this passport? Because there's got to be more boosters. I really think there's got to be continuation of this. In the rest of Canada, Western Canada tends to be very conservative, except for parts of BC, and Eastern Canada is a little bit more liberal. But I think overall, the support for the mandates is decreasing. Especially, I think this protest will have an enormous change on everything. I think we're gonna win with this.
Awesome. And so I read that actually just today, I read that the truckers have now raised the resources to stay in Ottawa for 2 to 4 years if necessary. Where do you suppose this is all going? Is I know the Prime Minister is saying he's not going to talk to him, he's not going to negotiate. What do you think? Is this going to end up dragging out for years? Is the government going to make some concessions, or are they going to have to haul all these truckers off to jail and starve everybody?
In Ontario, and the police forces here aren't touching this. They're not enforcing any of these mandates at all. It is really the place of bylaw officers that do this. Anybody who fights these things in court generally will win because it's unconstitutional. A lot of people in Ontario don't realize that as of June 9th, and I mentioned this last time I was on one of these programs, is that there is no emergency measures in this province since June 9th. They were taken at task in Ontario, and it was struck down. So there's no emergency measures at all. That would mean to me that all of the mandates are go with that. So that is in Ontario. Also, Alberta, same thing. Alberta is becoming mandate free. One person in particular went to court, Mr. King, and asked the health commissioner there, could you isolate the virus? No. Okay, so they threw it down. All their mandates are gone. So the worst province is Quebec. Quebec is really bad. They're not on board. They're on board with all these mandates, and you need a vax pass to even go to Walmart. But I think it comes down to the people. If the people are going to fight this, they go out and do what they do. When I go out, I don't wear a mask. I go about my everyday business as if this never existed. Because as far as I'm concerned, after they flatten the curve and all the research, all the reading I've been doing, this is complete planned fraud, and I don't think anybody should ever comply with a fraud. When given the evidence, persons I believe will change. But mainstream media has a lot to do with this. A lot of people watch mainstream media, and they see a one-way agenda-driven narrative. And right now we're starting to crack through the narrative.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Luigi. Is anything else, any wisdom you want to share? Anything else about what's going on in Canada that you want to share with the viewers before we let you go?
I wish we had the same governor in Florida. He seems wonderful. The one in Texas seems wonderful. There's a lot of excellent conservative governors there. I believe one was South Dakota. I know him. There's excellent governors, but the beauty of this is we have to. Canadians should look at their original Bill of Rights, not the Charter. The Charter really doesn't apply legally to Canadians. A lot of people don't know that. The Bill of Rights, we have a Bill of Rights passed by George Diefenbaker, Prime Minister, in the early 60s. And it's basically a reflection of your Bill of Rights. And if people read that and they question the narrative, look at other sources of news, the New American's a perfect example, then and that's what I do. I try to spread news. In front of my church pastors, I went and I put a presentation together, and I documented everything just to let them know what's going on. So If it starts with your church, your community, pass some literature around, inform people, and then don't comply. Once you have mass non-compliance, this will end. If the UK can end this, and Ireland and Spain tomorrow, I think it's Denmark's, Czech Republic, and Slovakia, we can do it as well.
Amen. Well, hey, thank you very much for the update, Luigi. We appreciate you chiming in. Keep up the great work up there, and please keep us updated on what goes on.
Yep. I took the, you hand them out, and the anti-mask literature from the
Oh,
Jumpers.
the Slim Jims and stuff?
Slim Jims.
Yeah.
I was about to say cigarillos, and Slim Jims, that's the one. I bought a stack of those, and earlier on, I handed them out last year. So I keep going with that. And I find them very effective because you could document everything there, and people could look the information up for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Luigi, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for all that you're doing. And please keep us posted. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, Alex. I appreciate being here.
Excellent. Hey, all right, folks, that was Luigi Grimaldi up in Canada working on fighting the mandates and the tyranny with an update on the Freedom Convoy. I'm Alex Newman. This is Conversations That Matter for the New American Magazine. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, God bless you all.